Hey everybody, this is Perch. I've got a lot of emails all of a sudden about one individual at Marvel. So let's get to this. Say, hey, Mr. Perch, the third king in Texas. This is Exalted Speed. Again, incredible account on Twitter. You should follow it. I'm going to try and be succinct without too much rambling, but this may not be possible. Anyway, for the past couple of weeks, Tom Brevoort has been on his Substack answering questions, and he keeps answering questions about the spider marriage. Now, I follow creatives, and him, I'm under no delusion. He secretly loves it, or he is trying to pull a fast one, or is he, dude, why throw in your rep for that? Either way, he's been answering this for years, and I don't know why he doesn't just ignore it or be more professional and playful about it. The man fashions himself a comic guru and historian, and I wonder how he doesn't look at old editors and how they handled this. If you look at old editors, they try and avoid saying no or be a bit more coy, not try and shut down fans or bash something. Now, not everyone did back in the day, but again, it feels compared to the old guard and for how long he's been active, you would think he would handle himself better. It's probably that arrogance at Marvel, but I'm not crazy for thinking that even if he doesn't like the marriage or whatever, that maybe he should not just shut it down or shut down fans and act like he's the be all end all. Am I crazy to think that he really needs to be a smidge more professional? Like he tries to say Spider-Man is about youth, but most normal people think it's about responsibility. Most people on the street think this, and he doesn't think that maybe it's not something he can argue. Anyway, thanks for reading. Always enjoy your commentary. Feel free to recommend something. Have a good one. Okay. First of all, always great to hear from Speed. But here's another mail we have. Same thing. Um, and he goes, hey, Perch, a comment that I posted on the Substack, got a reply to him, and an article in Bleeding Cool. Well, aren't you just the lucky one? Um, it, it says, basically, the comment that was made on Substack said, so nothing in Amazing Spider-Man is really going to matter in the long run, then why should I care what happens in it? Getting rid of the marriage got rid of any sense that what happens in Amazing Spider-Man going forward with the character will ever really matter. Brevoort responded in this mail. I know I'm reading a mail, and it's like an Inception thing going on here now. It says, and this ties nicely to Speed's comment around professionalism. Brevoort said, I think you have a very limited grasp as to what constitutes nothing, Clone Geek. Many of the things have happened to Peter Parker and Spider-Man over the past 17 years, and most all of them have mattered, both to the character and to the audience. Things change in the world of Spider-Man all the time, always have. So sometimes he has a black costume, and then he doesn't. And sometimes he's a school teacher, and then he isn't. And sometimes he's married, and then he isn't. And sometimes Dr. Octopus takes over his body, and then he gets it back. It's all kind of the same thing. It's not at all, really, but okay. But as always, if you just don't like Spider-Man without him being married to MJ, you can always stop reading it or simply enjoy Ultimate Spider-Man at this point, whatever suits you. Okay. Um, the mail continues. It says, his words at the end are very similar to that of Kelly Sue DeConnick's infamous, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my books. And that was the hook of the Bleeding Cool article. But I want to point out that Brevoort proved my point with his response with all the changes because none of them really lasted. The Superior really even mattered to the comics anymore. One More Day turned Spider-Man into a status quo. His God series. Gone is the title that allowed the death of Gwen Stacy and Peter to graduate from high school. Amazing Spider-Man is a castrated husk of its former self, and people like Brevoort who allow it to continue need to get replaced by people who can actually sell comics. All right, a lot to unpack there, but first of all, let me lead with kind of to the question on both ends. First off, when somebody tells you if you don't like the book, don't buy it, believe them. They're actually giving you really good, really honest advice. Stop buying. That is great advice. Absolutely stop buying. If you don't enjoy it, stop buying. Totally agree. 100% agree. The only issue with a DeConnick or a Brevoort saying that, I mean, people got offended about it because of the politics reason or because they're being arrogant jackasses about it, is their job is fundamentally to sell the comic. So the comment coming out of their mouth, while true, it's an absolutely true comment, is foolish because their whole job is to sell the comics. And so, daring people not to buy the books while, smart and accurate and correct is stupid. But, we get to some other things. Look, first off, yeah, you don't want to give your audience the feeling like nothing matters and nothing has any kind of lasting importance in a comic book in a world where it's serialized entertainment. And so you need people to believe that buying issue after issue actually matters and that it's important. If they miss one, it's bad. You can look at people who write serialized television and they will tell you that, their business decreases. I know people don't love the wrestling example, but wrestling is serialized entertainment. And there's some really good comments from Paul Levesque, who's the Triple H, who's running kind of the storylines and things right now, where it's like, yeah, we know that if people miss an episode, they get a little less attached to the product, and they get a little bit less attached to the product, or business suffers. So we do want them to watch everything. We need everything to feel like it matters. Now, obviously, characters are going to be good guys and be bad guys and move around all the time, but it'd be very callous of us to assume that to basically write that off as nothing matters. You need to care when these characters change. So to the point with Spider-Man and all the changes in his life, yeah, he's had a black costume, then he didn't, and yeah, the problem in the examples, if I read them again, is that he's conflating a bunch of things. He has a black costume and he doesn't. Sometimes he's a school teacher and then he isn't. Sometimes he's married and then he isn't. Sometimes Dr. Octopus takes over his body and then he gets it back. It's all kind of the same thing. Yeah, actually, no. Three of those are the same thing. One is not. You could argue the school teacher is a little bit closer to the middle too, but a costume change happens all the time. It's cosmetic. You make a storyline out of it, like you did with the black costume, cool. But a costume change is something that is aesthetic. The idea that Dr. Octopus took over his body was a storyline. It was something that existed for a little while, and then it didn't. Just like, that'd be like saying Peter Parker is trapped by Craven, and then he isn't. Yeah, that's called a storyline. That's fundamentally different than Peter Parker is married, and then he isn't. Now, if you had done the storyline that he got married, he was married for a long time, troubles crept into his marriage, and then he got divorced, then you have an ongoing storyline. But in this case, they had an evil, devil demon snap his fingers and erase the marriage and erase the memories and erase all this stuff, and effectively lazily rebooting the title. That is not the same as the other things. It's not saying here today, gone tomorrow. If you think that way about your characters, you are fundamentally wrong, and you shouldn't be writing them, and you definitely shouldn't be in charge of them. But I mean, going back to Brevoort for a moment, I mean, here's a guy who's been in the company for a long time. Absolutely, he's seen giants in the industry. He's seen kind of amazing editors back in the day. And in theory, yeah, he should absolutely have learned from them. But, the reality is, Brevoort is not at the same level as an Archie Goodwin, an Al Milgrom, a Denny O'Neil, a Larry Hama, Louise Simonson, a Tom DeFalco, a Mark Grunwald, a Carl Potts, a Ralph Macchio. I mean, those guys were legends at mastering how you get the book out, how do you make them commercially viable, how you juggle talent, how you manage a big slate with a lot higher volume shipping numbers. Brevoort, from all intents and purposes, is a guy who, his big claim to fame is that he ran a try and be smarter than me contest at cons where he would frequently cheat in order to make sure he won by doing, being like the annoying person in a comic shop who would be, well, actually, your answer is incorrect because that happened in an alternate continuity in Earth 645. Like, it is very easy to stump Brevoort. Lots of people did it. He just never admitted it. He's an arrogant jackass to the vast majority of people who ever worked with him. And the reality is, if we're looking at the X lineup, it is as dull as it could be, and the sales reflect that. You want to know the hard truth? Jordan White, the guy that everybody make fun of for having the ukulele, he managed a far better ship than Brevoort. Jordan White is a better group editor than Brevoort by miles. I it's funny how much more cohesion and quality the Krakoa era has had to this current From the Ashes era. These comics are nonsensical right now. They are absolutely. I mean, this is the dark time of the X lineup, and it sits on Brevoort's shoulders. He had some modest popularity and fame when he was managing the Avengers line, which was helped quite a bit by the fact that they had multi-million dollar, multi-billion dollar movies coming out, which helped the overall lineup. But even there, he managed to let a lot of talent slip through his fingers in that process and go to the distinguished competition. The guy needs to leave. He is a joke at this point. As for Spider-Man, look, you can argue it, you can fight it, you can do everything else, but don't gaslight everybody. You're not that good at your job. You're sitting over a declining revenue base, a declining subscription number. You're not as relevant as you used to be. You prop up parts of your business with international sales. You're vastly hated no matter who wants to stroke you in this industry. The retailers cannot stand you. The person who is buying your books cannot stand you as a human being. You're seen as arrogant, you don't listen, and annoying. And the reality is, the guy you replaced, and by the way, shit talk to a bunch of people in this industry, and that word has gotten around and has absolutely gotten back to White himself. Your sales, your performance, and your abilities are lesser. Many of you listening right now are like, I don't know why he's putting this point on. I'm putting this point on because it will absolutely drive the guy crazy. Jordan White's a better editor than you. And those names I listed earlier can't even lace their shoes. And the business reflects it. The performance reflects it. And yeah, the best thing you've said is your advice. Don't buy these books. Thanks for listening.